Hello and welcome everyone, this is 5-Star General.
And this is Lord Lokgar.
And we're here today, we're hosting a King of the Hill with all Game Replays staff. So right now you guys can see that we've got Ice and JamusMcgamuS ready to go here on Calderas Refinery. And we're also going to have Alcazar, aka that German guy. And blaqk will also be hopping in as well as soon as he gets home, which I'm assuming is going to be within the next 5 minutes. I was just talking to him on Skype, so...
Yeah, this should be a lot of fun. It's a King of the Hill style tournament, best of 1 matches. First up, we're going to have Ice versus JamusMcgamuS on Calderas Refinery, and the winner gets to pick the next map. And the way it is, the format is, if we go through all of our players, we're going to recycle from the losers to face the winners, and keep going from there. We hope you get a few good matches out of this, and hopefully all of them will be good matches.
Yeah, they hopefully should be. I think that we've got a pretty even pool here, but we'll see how that works out. So I know that Alcazar in particular has really been looking to really get back pounding competition. So because I know a lot of you guys maybe know him from way earlier, way back when, but he's like, oh man, been a big absence, trying to get back into it. So maybe this will be his grand re-entrance.
And we're going to see the Chaos Sorcerer. He's a hero we haven't seen before, I believe, in any cast we've done so far. And the Sorcerer is obviously a Chaos hero. He has several war gear options that give him different abilities, like Teleport, Warp Fire, which is essentially a long line of AoE fire damage, and many other abilities. If we see them, we'll define them. And he's a melee hero at the start, but he's fairly weak. He starts off with the Doom Bolt ability, which does more damage the more energy he has prior to casting the ability. And it shoots out little bolts of like purple fireballs, magic missiles essentially.
And then the Warp Spider, I think we've seen quite a bit before, so it'll be interesting to see another take on it, though.
Yeah, this map is big, so the Warp Spider Exarch does have a slight advantage with the extra mobility of the teleport.
Alright, so I think we are ready to go. We got some trash talk going on in the chat. A little profane, though, but other than that... GR staff getting a little rowdy in here. I think we're getting a little rowdy. I think everybody's getting a little rowdy. I think we're all ready to go. Am I right?
Yeah, totally ready to go. I don't really need ref. Don't worry about that.
I think we can all use ref. Whatever. Who cares? Except for that German guy.
Except that one German guy.
Except that one German guy. Oh, I'm sorry, German people. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, no, Lokgar and I'll take ref from here. Alright, so I think we're ready now, actually, right? Now that we all have ref.
I believe so. Both players are green, so...
Alright, let's just tell them to get ready. Super ready. Ready? That's the only way to be really ready. Alright. And I'm going to tell them to have good luck and have fun. I'm not really sure if I mean that, but... Oh, no, I mean it. This should be fun.
Calderas is also one of those maps that I was talking about yesterday where the closest requisition point is also a little bit farther away from your main base. I've actually noticed that the maps that they add prior to release of Dawn of War 2, it seems to be that the maps with the requisition point farther away from the base were added after the game came out. So I'm wondering if Relic intentionally did that or not.
Yeah, I think they wanted to kind of increase that. Oh, we've got blaqk, so let me, at the risk of invite him in here. Alright, we got our little chat going up, so you're going to see that pop up occasionally. Got this all nice and organized through Steam. And we got blaqk in there now, so he won't be able to observe just yet.
Again, I do apologize for being a little bit sick. Dang, just coughing everywhere.
Alright, so in the top left here, we've got Ice spawning in as the Chaos Sorcerer. In the bottom right, we've got JamusMcgamuS as the Warp Spider Exarch. See, he's already teleported to get his victory point faster, so he's actually going for that rather than resources.
He teleported to the second VP, actually.
Oh, wow, never mind.
That extra teleport range on the ability. We do see JamusMcgamuS going for the first Howling Banshee squad, but Ice is going for the triple Heretic squad. Banshees are really good damage dealers in melee, but they're also very fragile. And heretics are just a perfect counter for them. Banshees are usually used to counter the Chaos Tactical Space Marine unit, and it seems to me that JamusMcgamuS predicted that Ice would get some of those in the beginning. Many Chaos players do, but Ice is going for the triple heretic build, which will counter the Banshee build of JamusMcgamuS. But also, the Orb-Splitter Exarch is also really good at harassing heretics, since they are melee, they are sort of slow and fairly squishy. That if JamusMcgamuS harasses very early with his Orb-Splitter Exarch, he can do some pretty good economic damage from reinforcement costs.
Yeah, and so both players we see here with the power, we've got 2 generators actually up already for Jamus. And just a note so far for Ice, we see that Jamus also prioritized getting that power point on the far right side. So far we haven't seen that from Ice. On the other side, that is.
Yeah, it looks like Ice is... I wonder if he's going to go push the generators.
Looks like he is. That would be, seems kind of smart with this 3 heretic build early on here, try and get down to those generators before Jamus is able to get out his tier 1.5, which definitely seems to be what he would like to do at the moment.
I really do like this really early harass on this map. The map is quite a large map by Dawn of War 2 1v1 standards, and it takes a while for an enemy to respond unless they have troops ready and waiting. And we see the double heretics will prevent Jamus from doing much in the way of defending, so he's going to counter batch with the Banshees.
Yep, but there they go, and so we do see these 2 generators will probably go down, but Jamus was able to get his Rangers out. So
Ooh, and Ice did get the teleport armor to be able to counter this Warp-Splitter Exarch. The Warp-Spider Exarch went down to his power generator to try to defend and harass, but now every time he teleports away, the Sorcerer can just teleport right back and tie him up in melee.
So we have an interesting comment in the chat here from Alcazar asking Ranger against 3 heretics, and that is a pretty good question. I'm not really sure what the Ranger is going to do here. But remember, so far all these guys, except for blaqk here, are strategy specialists, and honestly, I don't think blaqk really needs the title of strategy specialist to be able to be eligible here. But so we're going to see exactly how that works out, if it works out, because again, that is pretty interesting.
Yeah, also interesting is the lack of grenades on the Guardian squad so far. It could just be from the lack of power, but he definitely has enough of the battle equipment. And grenades, we've seen in several of these casts how great grenades can be against high model, low HP squads, and heretics are absolutely not an exception. Grenades will completely decimate them on retreat.
Yeah,
so
he does seem to be...
Wait 1 minute, if you're having trouble, if new players are having trouble, like with a heretic heavy play style, please get used to using grenades if your race has them. They will be useful in many situations.
Remember, even if they, it's alright. Even if they don't actually hit, right, they will force the opponent to dodge, and heretics are not very durable units. So the second they have to dodge means they are open to, range fire from your Guardians for much longer, which is just quite painful for them. We do see this Ranger's actually being used pretty well here, taking down the Sorcerer very low here, maybe be able to snipe him off. They're chasing him. He's low on health. He may go down. He's at 23 health, 22 health. The one step, not quite enough. 1 health down!
That Ranger shot just sealed the deal. We did see him starting to upgrade the Sword of Flame, and that increases his melee damage and gives him an ability where he can basically surround an allied troop in a shield of fire. Now, it doesn't absorb damage, but it will do AoE damage to enemy units nearby that squad, and it affects every model. So again, with a high model squad like heretics, is absolutely devastating to enemies who are near them.
Important to note, though, that in the process of taking out the Sorcerer there, Jamus did lose 1 Ranger model, and that will hurt his teching a little bit if he replaces it. No doubt he probably will. But we are seeing Noise Brains here down by JamusMcgamuS' power farm, and Ice is going for a power bash here, and it doesn't look like Jamus can be able to do much to stop this. These Noise Marines have gotten here, they're just so much damage against these buildings. You really have to stop these things before they get anywhere close to your power farm to have any hope of keeping it alive. Jamus is trying with his Warp Spider here and the Rangers, but it just isn't working. We see Heretic pressure from the other side of the victory point. 2 generators go down. Jamus puts him back up immediately, but that is a decent blow, although both players are rather even in terms of economic income at this point in time, so not as bad as it could have been. Definitely having the point, both other power points, both other contestable power points, I should say, is really helping Jamus right now to absorb that blow.
Yeah, he's also inflicting massive losses on these heretics. That Ranger squad is being used very well with Kinetic Pulse. We saw it help take down that Sorcerer. He's just able to kind of bait these heretics into engaging and then knocking them back and doing more range damage with other units.
Yeah, it really...
also, a quick note on the Gen Bash that went down. Units with Flamer type attacks that deal a lot of damage to generators very quickly should be tied up in melee. We saw the Warp Spider Exarch dealing some heavy damage and ranged, but if he tied up the Noise Marines, they wouldn't be able to fire upon the generators, thus saving his generators and then buying him some time.
Yeah,
Those
that's
very good for tying up ranged units into melee, even if it's a ranged hero, simply because it's one model with at least 400 HP.
That's a very good point, especially for the Warp Spider Exarch, who has that melee special attack. And we see he's going for that Sorcerer, and he gets him down with the teleport there. Very nice job by Jamus, picking off that Sorcerer first, which is rather interesting. He must be, I'm assuming, kind of worried about that sword, quite possibly. And this build here from Ice with the 3 Heretics and the Noise Marines is facing some trouble now, as Jamus is teching into Tier 2.
We also see Jamus has dominant map control despite having the lesser number of squads. And Ice is fairly far off from getting to Tech 2. He needs 25 more power, which JamusMcgamuS has plenty of time to bring out a vehicle, or actually not, because Eldar vehicles are fairly expensive, but plenty of time to capitalize on his Tier 2 advantage.
Yeah, we did see the Banshees were looking at a Gen Bash there, but then saw that the army was moving over and decided they didn't really want to engage in that. Also, a little bit of a thing that happened earlier with these Rangers, we saw that Jamus actually did not reinforce them, which is a little interesting, but Rangers are a squad, of course, you know, they have their sniper rifle, and that's really just one weapon. They don't need all 3 members to operate, but they are a little more vulnerable here. We're seeing these Heretics are chasing them, as is the Sorcerer. If they're caught, they could be more vulnerable to being wiped, but they seem to be alright.
Yeah, and we see JamusMcgamuS just upgraded a power node, the one on the far right side. Is going to give him an extra boost, as we calculated yesterday, or no, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Just add in 1 extra node is very good for that money, especially on a big map like this. And we see Warp Fire or the Chaos Global
Dark
going
Flames
down to take out the Rangers,
but it just barely gets away there. Now on the left side, I would be again not surprised if we saw Jamus put down another node. Just these Heretics go to cap. But no, the Heretics are going to start the cap successfully. We do see those other Heretics that are bashing Jamus's main farm, and this is probably why Jamus wants to put that node over there. He now has 2 options for a power farm, so even if he loses his main power farm, he can still go ahead and build over there if he needs power immediately.
Yeah, also the increased line of sight on such a big map like this is very helpful. I mean, you can see it perfectly now if you go to that requisition point. If you bring the camera over there, you see how little line of sight you get compared to the secured power node.
Yeah, it's actually a really nice comparison. I'm not so sure that part of that, though, isn't just the terrain around there. But looking at the right side, actually, the other one down there in the bottom right is a better comparison. In the meantime, these Banshees are really doing a number on Ice's power farm, and that is just completely gone down.
Yeah, Ice is he's in a little bit of a pickle now. He's only about 3/4 of the way to Tech 2, and Jamus is sitting on Tier 2 with plenty of resources to bring out something. Banshee's upgraded with the Exarch and Warlock on the Guardian squad, so they have a lot of health.
Oh, now this is a little dangerous, but it seems like the Noise Marines are really getting... Okay, finally they pop Cacophony.
Oh, but it looks like the Autarch is going to get it on retreat. No, it
actually getting more of his own Banshees.
Barely gets out, but the leap goes down next to the Noise Marines. Will the Autarch catch it?
Nope.
And no, he pulls back just before the turrets get him.
Yeah, I was a little kind of dismayed, I guess I want to say, with the timing of that Cacophony. I really felt like Ice was in a position where Jamus had made a mistake in terms of having the Banshees go after the Noise Marines there. The Noise Marines could have just popped Cacophony, and that would have actually stopped the ability for the Banshees to retreat out of that for quite a bit. But instead of it's popped a little late there, I saw a Noise Marine go down that probably didn't have to go down. And we see a nice grenade here! And that takes out a sizable number of heretics, not wiping either two squads, but still plenty of damage.
Yeah, that is exactly why grenades are wonderful against this build. One heretic squad has gone down some point in the game. I'm not too sure. If
I think it was I think it was down in the at Jamus's main power farm. We saw a pretty aggressive bash attempt from Ice, and somewhat successful, but on the retreat, I think he lost one squad from that, and that is GG.
Indeed, Ice had a pretty good build to counter Jamus's first starting initial tier 1 unit choice, but a failure to cap requisition points really did hit him hard because he kept having to reinforce the heretics because just model loss is very common with them, and he didn't have the requisition income because he didn't really dominate the map, which you do need to do with a triple heretic build, in my opinion. You need to capitalize on the fact that you have a very strong initial force and then try to get that map so you can bring out the heavier guys while still sustaining your heretic army.
Yeah, and so we also had seen that in terms of what Ice was thinking tier 2, we saw he was looking at Rod of Warp Fire to possibly allow him to turn around. So somewhat of a war gear that had been considered really underpowered in Chaos Rising, and Retribution it's completely turned around. Relic made some big changes to it, lowered the cost, and now it's considered a little maybe over effective. But he didn't really get a chance to use it. We saw that Jamus did a great job of sealing the deal, and again, just really good map control. And I really like the use of that Ranger squad, by the way, because as mentioned by Alcazar, it was kind of an odd choice, it looked like, but he really made it work.
Expecting a shuriken platform against such a swarmy army, but the Ranger was really put to good use. That kinetic pulse ability just kept helping him, and he was really careful with the Rangers.
So we're gonna go ahead and it looks like blaqk has just hopped in. So
playing the Commissar Lord, maybe. Which we have seen featured on the show, so that should be fun.
Yeah, let's see if he actually sticks with it, but hopefully he will. Definitely be interesting to see a slightly different map choice. Well, map choice is what we're waiting on here, but Commissar Lord against Warp Spider, I don't think we've seen too much of that yet. We did see Pega's excellent Commissar Lord against Nerea's, again, very good Lictor Alpha, so...
Yeah, I was, that game was just awesome. I wasn't a big fan of the map. It was just high stratum. I've never been a fan of the map. I've always said that, but I really like the Commissar. His just Pega's usage of bleeding Narya of squads, basically.
Yeah, finding a way around the huge map control element of Legis, which is really tough, so...
Greentooth Gorge is picked by JamusMcgamuS again. A popular map, time and time again, always picked out by players for tournament matches.
Yeah, I was about to say, Greentooth Gorge, who didn't see that one coming?
I hope we see that one desert map, Seawall Frontier, one day.
Oh man, I mean, I've never seen Seawall Frontier.
I heard it's super imbalanced.
Alright, so let's see if everybody is good to go here. blaqk, by the way, is a GameReplays referee, and I should probably go ahead and plug all entities involved in this really quickly. I know one particular entity I won't be plugging today, one certain Dawn of War 2 community site that has me a little mad at the moment. Anyway, though, but I think Lokgar might know what I'm talking about. I'm not sure. I haven't even brought it up to him yet. But anyway.
No, but just the way you said that made me a little bit happy. I don't know why. I don't know why.
So anyway, of course, you know, we're casting here for iCCup TV, or iCCup, however you want to pronounce it. I know that in real life, many friends of mine have been like, "You're pronouncing it totally wrong." And if I could see the iCCup chat right now, they would probably be telling me that I'm
pretty
pronouncing.
sure it's iCCup.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is too, but it's just it's just a bad habit.
A lot of people call it iCup. It's all good.
It is good. And of course, all the participants today are actually staff at GameReplays.org.
And it looks like JamusMcgamuS is ready to go. I assume blaqk is ready to go as well.
I think everybody's ready to go at this point, but again, really quick, GameReplays.org, awesome for all of your replays and strategy needs. So you're actually getting to see today, you just saw iCJT and JamusMcgamuS go at it. Two strategy specialists there, two guys that are writing your guides. Jamus is actually writing a Warp Spider Exarch guide right now for this very matchup. So it's going to be really awesome to go ahead and watch this go down between him and blaqk. You're going to get a preview of maybe what's in his guide. So that's really awesome. Alcazar, aka That German Guy, is also a game replay strategy specialist, and blaqk is a referee who's working right now on organizing a pretty big event that we're going to be telling you guys about within the coming weeks. So a lot of stuff going on.
Anyway, both players are ready, so we will be underway in just a second.
Alright, so let's get this moving.
I can't wait to see this, if his strategy guide is used. I can't wait till that comes out to see, and then rewatch this replay.
We really
also, those of you who don't know, we just had a new patch, so any replays, which is really lucky for us that we planned this King of the Hill earlier, because you know, any replays we had picked out last night would have not worked today, which would have been terrible for the show.
Yeah, and also for all of you people saying, oh, they're doing a King of the Hill, wonder why they're doing that last second. No, we planned this in advance, guys. I don't know, but maybe Relic, you know, the great Relic gods, just, you know, were like, oh, look, we can release a patch today because the daily is not using any replays.
I'm sure they use our dailies as an indicator of when to balance and patch the game.
Completely.
I'm sure all their balance decisions are designed by watching these dailies. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, that'd be pretty awesome. But on the bottom, we've got blaqk spawning in as Commissar Lord, and he's building a Sentinel already, and JamusMcgamuS in the top with his Warp Spider Exarch. We're seeing that he's actually jumping to none of what I would consider the natural nodes.
Indeed, he is going for that power, but it looks like he's just going to go for a quick harass on blaqk's power, which is very effective against guardsmen since he didn't send his Commissar Lord to capture the power, which I thought was something standard since like 1.2. I thought any hero that teleports or can stealth would quickly go to your power generators, and that is why you send out your hero to capture it, since a one model squad won't really incur any requisition loss while he's trying to capture it.
Well, he is getting Sergeant. He's only lost one member so far, so I guess in the long-term view of this, this Warp Spider is spending a lot here. He's only really going to force blaqk to reinforce one member of that guardsman squad, so it's only about 17, 19 requisition, I think.
And I do like how he went ahead and capped that that second requisition point blaqk did it, so he could get that third one up really quickly before really JamusMcgamuS's capping squads get to it. That requisition point and its mirror where the Warp Spider Exarch is going now are very highly contested, and being able to hold on to it early on is really, really helpful, especially since on this map naturals aren't very often decapped, so you can cap it a little bit later and let it mature without really having to worry about it being decapped unless you're completely getting stomped.
Yeah, and speaking of decapping the natural, we're going to see blaqk is actually going for that right now. This is a very nice economic harassment build that we're seeing here. Both players have really been going at it in that sector, and it seems like blaqk has got his plan to counter-strike.
Yeah, the Sentinel can only decap, but he moves very fast, fires on the move, and has a pretty good HP pool for, you know, a one model entity. Range fire will take him down pretty quickly, but look at that, he just decapped and he's going to walk away. And now Jamus only has one requisition point captured with an income of 279, while blaqk has 334.
Yeah, and the important thing was you had seen actually that natural node was maturing pretty well. It was up to about 20 or 25 requisition before blaqk had finished that decap. And again, we now look at all of blaqk's points here, and we've got one fully mature requisition node, and another that's almost mature. So,
And the power, the extra power node. He finally popped down generators because he finally has enough requisition to do so. I feel like that he felt like he needed to stockpile a little bit just to reinforce those guardsman squads because they can be pretty costly early game.
So in the meantime, we are seeing a ranger out for JamusMcgamuS, and they do have the Pathfinder upgrade. The Pathfinder upgrade allows rangers to infiltrate and also to use the hollow field ability. We're currently seeing them infiltrate here. It makes them invisible to all but detectors except for when they shoot. And currently
Rangers
they're
again against I would expect shurikens, honestly, just because suppression is very useful and that added damage against the sentinel is again very useful. But rangers again, we'll see how useful they are against this matchup. Kinetic pulse, if he can use those kinetic pulses very effectively again, that would be awesome.
But besides from kinetic pulse, just that single target damage is really effective against sentinels. It actually does a very good job of bringing their health down very quickly. It makes it tough for guardsmen to repair them. We see he might even be able to snipe this off here.
The
Commissar Lord went down, yeah.
Yeah, the Commissar Lord went down. Sorry, for some reason I was thinking Lord General.
Yeah, now we have ourselves a Commissar Lord today, and he actually does have the, we haven't really talked about it yet, but he's got the sword upgrade, the power sword upgrade, which allows him to use an ability that it's kind of a combination between, oh, and there goes the Sentinel, just as I was saying, those Rangers, especially with the Pathfinder upgrade, allowing them to infiltrate and just kind of hunt that Sentinel down from long range, deal a lot of damage per shot, make it very tough for guardsmen to get in there and repair it before they're able to finish it off. Just burst damage is really good for taking out Sentinels.
And now the Devils are out. The Catachan Devils do have detection, so they're gonna, once he figures out where the Rangers are shooting from, probably just use a grenade burst and try to find them and kill them off really quickly.
But in the meantime, though, we are seeing the Demolition Man upgrade come down on those Catachans, so maybe you're going to see some charges go down in some areas. Try to catch JamusMcgamuS maybe a little unawares.
And man, I'm getting that UI bug now, actually, both these games so far. I don't know if it's an issue with spectating. And here we go, the Rangers are being shot
by the Catachans. They're in a bad position here. We see a very nice usage here of the execute ability. They're chasing, maybe just not quite enough damage to get to him, though. And he tried the old reliable, but not quite getting there in time.
Yeah, just way too late. Those Rangers, though, it's going to cost a little bit of power to reinforce them, and he is reinforcing them. If you're looking here, JamusMcgamuS has so much requisition, but so little power. That goes into what we were talking about yesterday, where players sometimes just try to churn out as much power as they can, but we saw in yesterday's game, there was some nice sort of balance of requisition and power income. Or not yesterday, I'm sorry, I'm keep thinking yesterday, but it was actually Wednesday's cast.
When Lokgar says yesterday, he really means Wednesday. Thursday did not exist, everyone.
Yeah, the fact that we didn't have a Dawn of War 2 daily on Thursday makes it seem like it just didn't happen. That day just didn't exist.
It's not important. So in the meantime, what is important, though, is these Banshees are looking to bash the generator farm for blaqk. He is really reliant on power now. He's got the requisition he needs to go to tier 2. We see that he's stockpiling a bit, so he does seem to want to go to tier 2. We don't see him tossing down a node, though, the other power fortification he's got, though, so I would like to see that from him at the moment, because that would really help him out here. But we do see he's got enough for tier 2 the second he wants to hit the button.
Yeah, and again, remember that contested requisition point? It turns out JamusMcgamuS has his, but blaqk's got decat by those Rangers, and blaqk hasn't made an effort to try to get that back. So now blaqk is behind on the requisition income when before he was very much ahead.
Yeah, now we do see both players finally getting around to taking a tier 2 here. They do so, though, with a lot of requisition here for both players. So we do see that both had a little bit of issues with their power economy. Could probably have used, maybe consider some fortified nodes to help boost production a little bit. And in the meantime, we do see these Rangers here. The Guardsmen are actually trying to go in a melee with the Rangers. I think they're just trying to find them, honestly. But Ranger melee actually isn't that bad. Guardsman melee is terrible, and we're seeing that this is kind of dangerous for them, especially this Warp Spider Exarch may be able to teleport on top of them and finish them off, but probably not, though.
We see a grenade blast going down to catch the Banshees and knock down a few of them, allowing the Commissar Lord to go into melee with the Rangers, killing a model, maybe, possibly, no. Nope.
But we do see
one
they
model
are,
is down,
yeah, they are 2 out of 3. But all the Banshees got out alive. In the meantime, we just see there that good job here by Jamus. The requisition that we were just talking about, he just went ahead and captured it with Guardians. And now this is kind of interesting. This energy shield right next to that building, and we're seeing it actually seems like it's going to allow him to get to use the building and the energy shield like at will. And I'm not quite sure what that does for him because it's so close to the building. You'd figure the building should be good enough, but
well, he does get those extra 2 models firing for that a few extra seconds, which combined with Embolden is very useful.
Yeah, so that could well
Warlocks out now.
That could well be worth it, yeah. And there goes the Warlock upgrade. In the meantime, we have a Chimera coming out for blaqk.
And we see, yeah, the Chimera. Oh, Commissar Lord goes
down
again.
to the Banshees.
Did not suppress or use Old Reliable to try to get them off.
Oh, and here we have the Audar calling coming right on top of him. It's going to be slightly behind, but it still gets about 3 models. And we are seeing that
now the Audark is out. That's going to be a force to reckon with for blaqk. He's already sort of taking a lot of damage now. Lost his Commissar Lord again. That's at least 500 requisition he's spent this game to try to bring him back if he's going to revive him.
Yeah, he hasn't yet. We do see some decent usage of booby traps here. This is kind of tying up that Warp Spider Alcazar, trying to take it down. You know, it hasn't really, gone off there or anything, but just the mere fact that the Warp Spider Alcazar is wasting time, or was wasting time, I should say, on it, is quite a big positive. This Chimera's got to watch out because these Banshees do have their
the Executioner.
Yep, from their.
I like how the Chimera is actually targeting the leaders. Both times I've looked over and he's just been targeting these squad leaders.
And we do see that blaqk has indeed raised his Commissar Lord. And we
see the fusion gun on the Audark. That's going to allow the Audark to deal with this Chimera quite well. And I'm getting a little bit of lag. It might be.
It says it's you, yeah.
Yeah, my bad.
Now we do see actually this Chimera is able to take a fair bit from that fusion gun as long as it stays to the front of it. But now this Commissar Lord is in quite a bit of trouble. He's going to have to get out of here. He's popped his shield. And we see the blaqk waits for the very last second there possible to retreat. The reason for that is, very nice leap here. This melee, and it does allow the Banshees to finish off the Commissar Lord yet again. The significance, though, of retreating as late as possible there with the energy shield was that the second you retreat, the energy shield goes down. Therefore, he wanted to make sure he kept that up as long as possible, especially against melee foes that do extra damage on retreat.
Yeah, and these guardsmen are now just a requisition drain. I've noticed them coming back home with several members missing. JamusMcgamuS has a lot of requisition. blaqk has, again, a lot of power, but not enough requisition to maintain his army, so it goes back to that balance of requisition and power that we keep talking about.
Okay.
Also, Old Reliable seems to be missing quite a bit for blaqk, which just wasting an ability like that always hurts because you don't have it when you need it.
Now we see he is closing in on these Rangers with these his catechins, and we are again seeing some of the utility of having this. This is really.
He can use this shield now to defend against the Guardians' damage, and he's destroying it for some reason. Maybe he can use it, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Just like.
Yeah, you can use it.
He's using it, but he's forced to retreat with the Banshees out. If he didn't throw that grenade, he could have probably just used it, destroyed the Rangers, and used the grenade on the building.
Now, I found that a little funny. What we saw there was we actually saw Jamus toss a grenade, and what everyone would have expected to be the retreat path, but the catechins defy all expectations, go around the complete opposite way. The grenade totally misses, but it did bring them in a little bit closer to the clutches of the Banshees. In the meantime, though, the Warp Spider Exarch on the left side here has gone down, it seems, to the Chimera. Possibly a multitasking issue. Watch out for this booby trap, and it gets triggered. Boom! Go the Guardians! They'll lose 2 models from that, and they lose another from the Chimera. And now these Howling Banshees are also forced off losing a model there as well. We see blaqk's in a great position to go ahead and hit Jamus's power. Jamus is looking, or was looking to go tier 3. He seems to be getting out of Wraith Guard now. So definitely this is quite big to hit the power now. The Audark is coming here with the Fusion Melta, trying to do what it can against this Chimera, but we're seeing a good job done by the Commissar Lord thus far of chasing her off.
And Ogren's coming out for black. That's going to deal nicely with the Wraithguard squad as long as he can keep it microed to engage it.
And we are seeing that the Audark is being forced off. The Commissar Lord, though, does need to be a little careful as that Wart Spider Exarch is there with improved targeters. Very low on health.
I think Black has a guardsman squad in the Chimera from the extra shooties.
Yeah, he does.
I think he could have done very early on when he was
again, the Commissar Lord.
Again, Commissar Lord goes down as 750 requisition at least, and he was upgrading with the Bionic Eye, which means he can't regain those resources until he revives him to hit cancel.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure if he would cancel, but yeah, even if you didn't want to revive him, now you're stuck with that extra cost. Very good point.
But going back to that guardsman squad on the Chimera, he could have easily unloaded the Chimera, gone to decap that mature requisition point, and then focused the Chimera's main turret on the generators, thus doing kind of double damage. And the Wraithguard taking down this Chimera, it's got to get away, but it goes down.
It goes down. And in the meantime, we've got a big battle with the Catachans and Banshees in the bottom left here. Catachans were able to do some damage on approach to the Banshees, and now the Banshees are retreating right into the Ogrins. A very nice grenade spike, though, is going to keep the... Oh no, the Ogrins do get the Howling Banshees down, and the Ogrins also managed to take out a couple of Guardian models there. In fact, the only reason why that wasn't worse was because of the Guardian grenade spike on the Ogrins. That it didn't really take much health off of them, but it did manage to knock them on their ass for just enough time.
This is just what Black needed. Black just lost his Chimera, losing his Commissar Lord a lot, and just lost a Guardian squad to the Wraithguard. He didn't retreat them in time. He was so focused on that other battle. And, you know, Black is still in a disadvantage just from the amount of Commissar Lord losses. He just revived him yet again. And both players are backcapping each other very well. It seems like JamusMcgamuS is encroaching upon Black's territory slowly but surely.
Yeah, we do see that Black has 3 requisition points. One of them, though, is kind of up in Jamus's area, and Jamus should be able to push up there and take that back whenever he wants. So,
and we see the Devils could have been used to cap that BP, but might have just not gone, and Black wasn't paying attention to it.
Yeah, it's always...
something else to mention for infiltration. If you notice, Rangers, when they fire, they blink red, and they're able to be fired upon. However, they still take less range damage since they aren't fully detected by a detector unit. They'll still look like you won't really see the model too well. You'll just see blinking lights. That means they're still getting that range damage reduction. Once you have a detector, you're able to see the full model and it's blinking red. That's when you know that it's taking full range damage. It's just something to keep in mind. Even if you can see cloaked units by going near them, always have a detector so you're able to do full damage all the time.
We do see this Audark here is doing some ninja generator bashing, and it looks like she'll be pretty successful. No, she's going to back away from the Catachans. Just maybe kiting a bit here, actually. The Catachans here and yep, they go far enough away to allow her to get that one generator all the way down. Now they're just going to go into engage. Black plops another generator down, but his requisition here is really low still.
And another thing, shotguns do more damage when you're closer up.
Not the Catachan shotguns, though.
Oh, wow, okay.
And here goes, the Audark goes down.
That is a huge loss this late in the game, but McGamus has a lot of requisition and a lot of red and a lot of power. He's able to get to Tech 3 whenever he wants to. And,
we've got some meanness in the chat from the observers, although maybe he was just looking to do this, although Skyleap would have been nicer, but, we do see the Audark comes right back in, right on top of these Catachans and these Ogrins, but then she realizes it's a bad idea, so she jumps out. But now she's back to level 1, she's got none of her weapons. She actually is coming back with Executioner instead of the Fusion Melted. That's probably because the Chimera is down now, wants to be able to engage the Ogrins a little more directly. But you see the Shuriken is here. It's going to be able to help with these Ogrins. Suppression is really big against Ogrins, because otherwise they can just walk right in and really walk all over you. We're going to see this combination, though, of the Wraithguard and the Shuriken team is going to be tough for these Ogrins to deal with. We're really seeing this Commissar Lord just standing here. He's got to get out of there. The Catachans, they're running in with Bionic Eye. They're going to go ahead and try and tie up the suppression platform. That's going to allow the Ogrins to come in here on the Wraithguard. And the Wraithguard trying to take some shots off of the Catachin Devils not really able to.
Shuriken Cannon might go down 4 HP down.
It's down. I mean, you saw the over-reliable there, a little late, but I guess better safe than than anything else.
Yeah, that was a wonderful play. He used his Connoisseur Lord to tank the majority of the damage. He didn't even put up his shield until way late. Put it up and then charged in with the...
But he's got to watch out with these Catachins, and we might see a grenade spike here. But no, great job with the Ogrins coming in, charging, knocking back the Guardians. The Guardians still fleet of footing, trying to get over to grenade spike these Catachins. They're so low on health here, and they might run right into the booby trap. And they do, and they get absolutely pummeled. They're taken down to one model, taken out completely, and he was upgrading Warlock in the process. That isn't happening anymore. Huge loss for JamusMcgamuS, going for the kill strike, instead getting the kill strike inflicted upon himself there.
Ogrins are excellent in melee too, and I'm honestly surprised that Ardark didn't go down a little bit more health-wise. JamusMcgamuS replacing his Guardian squad, which is an interesting choice. Many players would probably choose to get something out in Tier 2 again, like Warp Spiders perhaps, to teleport and deal some heavy damage to guardsman squads. And
yeah, or even Tier 3 at this point. All of that's an option. In the meantime, we did see though that blaqk sacrificed one of his own Ogrins in order for the Bionic Eye, but he didn't really do anything with it. So unfortunately, it was just kind of a unnecessary bleed here. We're going to see it's actually 83 requisition and 16 power to replace them.
Yeah, also the Commissar Lord has a stubbornness accessory. Basically, the more units that he's surrounded by, the faster he regenerates his health, which allows him to tank out quite a bit. And Stormtroopers coming out for blaqk, these are heavy ranged infantry, which, excuse me, will help quite a bit, just dealing DPS to the Wraith Guard while they get tied up.
Yeah, the Stormtroopers do have 3 options as well once they're going to get in the field. It's going to be interesting to see what they choose. They can either go with the Assault Kit, which... oh, and we see actually a Flare come in here. This is really awesome to see. The Flare reduces the range of the Shuriken greatly so that he can't actually hit the Catachins or the Commissar Lord coming in there. That allows him to force like everything off. The other nice thing about Flare is that it looks really similar to the Manticore Barrage symbol. So a lot of players, the second you pop Flare, will just like retreat everything because they believe that a Manticore is out and firing on them. But yeah, back to Stormtroopers. So they've got 3 possible upgrades. They've got the Assault Kit, which basically makes them better at shooting. They get better range and do a little bit of extra damage by way of decreased cooldown and such. They have the Melta Kit, which gives them some AB. We actually see, like, the Catachin has a Melta gun here. It's high damage, good against all targets basically. But again, particularly good against AV. It also gives them Melta Bomb, which is anti-vehicle bomb. And then finally, they've got the Infiltration Kit, which allows them to sneak around. That's what we're going to see here. The Recon Kit for the Stormtrooper squad that allows them to infiltrate and sprint around the map. We see that being down at 126 victory points, that probably is going to help blaqk the most, honestly. And we see another good booby trap maybe going to go off on these. It does go off on the Wraith Guard, but it doesn't do too much. It does bring their health down just a little bit, though, and anything you can do against Wraith Guard as far as health goes, always beneficial.
Like I said, my UI is bugged. Can you give me a quick VP count for the viewers as well, but mostly me?
Yeah, it should be. Now, of course, it's a little tough because right now both players have equal amount of victory points, right? Or not victory point totals, but the equal amount captured, right? So can't really go by that. But it seems to be that blaqk has 126 and Jamus has 292. Yep, that is indeed what it is right now. I
do like blaqk's ability usage of the Recon Kit. By the way, he used it just to tie up the Shuriken.
Yeah, he's got to get
chasing these Wraith Guard around.
He's got to get out of here. Oh, he loses the Stormtroopers from that though. But yeah, it was a nice usage, but unfortunately was not able to capitalize on that with the rest of his force. We are seeing more Ogrins though, so just tossing brute force at the problem now.
Which he wants to be able to get those Wraith Guard down as soon as possible, and 2 Ogren squads will just do that. Especially with the Audark, you also want some heavy melee damage to try to force her off. Yeah,
unfortunately though, a Fire Prism is coming out for JamusMcgamuS, and that will probably seal the deal at this point. The knockback from that Fire Prism is going to make it pretty hard for Ogrins to function. They do have their ability that they can pop whenever, but between the map control issue right now that Black is facing, especially having lost those recon stormtroopers, they would have been really valuable for backcapping and dealing with the victory point situation, allowing his Ogrins to push, but that option no longer exists.
Yeah, and we see the uncontested VP requisition point still uncapped. Yet again, like I said, it's always hotly contested. Once it's decapped, a lot of players forget to try to recap it. And a requisition point will only help you if you get it under your control. So you should really try to cap it.
So we see Ogrins are coming in from the middle. We are seeing that Black is trying to get a pretty nice surround here to come in from all sides and really hit the Shuriken. We see, again, very nice usage of the Flare Global here. It's really making that Shuriken pretty useless, and now these Ogrins may be actually going to be able to get to the Fire Prism. The Fire Prism's targeting priorities here actually going towards trying to save the Wraithguard as opposed to trying to save itself. That may be a big mistake. Are these Rangers be able to get a kinetic pulse off is the next question. No, everything's focusing on the Guardsmen down here. This is not looking good for the Fire Prism. Will it get back to base safely? Will it get back?
And the Autarch is at 10 HP, 9 HP being chased. Looks like the Fire Prism's safe thanks to that one blast. But Valkyries drop in. Proximity mines. The Fire Prism might go down. Nope.
No, I think the Fire Prism skims over mines. I'm not sure about that, but oh, actually, the entirety of those mines got wiped out. Well, not quite the entirety, but pretty close to the entirety got wiped out. I'm not really sure from what. Maybe it was the Fire Prism
blast.
Really, wow.
Triggered them and hit his own Guardians with them, actually.
They didn't take too much damage from that, though, so that's not bad. So in the meantime, we are seeing Catechins and the Commissar Lord just in the middle here, infiltrated with a booby trap. Actually, now they de-infiltrate as they see the Warp Spider coming in. They see the Shurikens setting up. We're seeing that the Warp Spider has gone ahead and tossed down an Entangling Web to prevent the Over-Reliable is still going to be able to go off, but now the Catechins won't be able to let me Bionic Guide, I guess you could say, by the Commissar Lord and use Over-Reliable and then just run up and melee that. 21 victory points, though. Black absolutely has to hold this middle victory point. And actually, the problem... Oh, we're seeing very nice usage of attack around there by the Wraithguard to go ahead and hit the infiltrated Catechins, and now they're retreating out, and this is just bad for Black. He's only down to 21 victory points. We have the Warp Spider Exort on the left side, going to capture that victory point. The middle victory point's been captured by Wraithguard. The Fire Prism is back at full health. The Shuriken is completely set up. Guardians are supporting, and the right victory point is guarded by Rangers. I don't see how Black is going to stop this.
It is literally impossible in the time, I think, maybe, because this Wraithguard will be able to tank all this damage and recapture that middle. Unless this Ninja Cap becomes successful, which with the Rangers guarding, it might not. This could get pretty hairy for Black really quickly.
Yeah, now we do see actually there's, I felt like this Wraithguard made a bit of a mistake there in that they backed off from that cap. At this point, with 21 victory points left, I felt there was no reason for backing off there, right? Jamus could have just gone all in. And the
Shuriken does go down. That's again going to be a big loss for for JamusMcgamuS if Black's able to decap this or recapture this victory point.
I mean, see, the Fire Prism is maybe in danger going down as well, but it's getting the hits off this time. There's nothing else to distract it. He's not by Guardsmen. We do see the Guardsmen were successful on the right side. The Rangers just weren't able to kill them fast enough, honestly. In the meantime, we see
Kinetic Pulse.
Yeah. Well, it is a little bit tougher on Guardsmen because there are so many, and Kinetic Pulse is just kind of a line ability. So we do see the middle of victory point stays decapped. On the left side, we have the Autarch, though, decapping Black's victory point there. By the way, I want to say we had very nice usage of Bionic Eye by Black in that encounter, but all of this is kind of for naught for Black because right now everything is being captured by Jamus, and we're seeing an Avatar come out. Black is just going for another squad of Ogrins. He doesn't seem to really have much of it. Well, I mean, honestly, they are working. So, and he got the Shurikens, so he is taking out the things that are hampering the Ogrins most.
Indeed, but looks like with the two VPs, the drain will be too much for Black to overcome.
And we have an Eldritch Storm coming down as well. Those Catechins are just going to get massacred here. And boom, just most of the squad standing right in the middle of it, and that's GG. Oh, actually, okay, so the Catachan survived only because the victory points ran out there.
And we see Jamus taking his second victory. Let's see if he can survive the German.
aka alcazar for anyone just looking ahead on the forums. So let's go ahead and save this replay.
You know, I really like that usage of Bionic Eye, though. Just the ability. I don't know if the sprint is tied into the ability originally or the Bionic Eye when it buffs it, but that speed boost really helped him out quite a few times to set up some suppression teams.
Yeah, Bionic Eye is what gives the speed boost, and so that was it was, yeah, again, really great usage we saw there with the Ogrins, and I don't think we saw the Stormtroopers. I think just use their own sprint ability.
Indeed, and we got the that German guy, aka Alcazar, ready to play, going random, perhaps.
Really, now this is going to be interesting. Do we think that he's maybe just very confident here in his capabilities to take on Jamus?
Indeed, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? He was doing a little bit of BM in the observer chat. So
yeah, there was quite a bit from both observers. I just kind of try to comment on that most of the time, but I think I did laugh at one thing they said. So if anyone was wondering, wait, why is 5-star Germal just randomly laughing in the middle of the cast here? Observer chat can be funny.
It is. It is always funny, actually.
Let's see, so we're asking Jamus for his map choice. And Outer Reaches is the choice. So actually not Sewell Frontier, but not an uncommon map either.
We see Thunder in the Ustream chat, Relic Thunder.
Thunder!
The wonderful community dev who manages the community site and many other things within the community.
And who got us our advertisement on the community site today. Go Thunder, awesome job. We thank you very much for doing that. So
Sorry,
we are.
Oh my gosh! I just saw the Commando knob. Now he's doing a key on us. I don't know.
Yeah, he could be anything by the time this is done.
One minute he's a dragon, the next moment he's a human. Oh my gosh!
So El Alcazar is responsible for orcs primarily at Game Replays. So that was what I was expecting to see. That is what we're going to see. So
I remember him as orcs from Vanilla Dawn of War 2, so I'm happy that he stuck with the race to even when it's been down and out, considered by the community down and out for the last few patches before the war boss buffs and such.
Yeah, and then even post Retribution now, they're considered a little backseat compared to where they were. Honestly, the most of the rise of orcs was all on the back of the war boss anyway.
Indeed, and Commando Knob is still a very good hero. It's still high damage on his default weapon, the ability to infiltrate, and the ability to throw stun bombs on the field of combat as opposed to just in a building like blind grenades. He's very useful to assist shooters and sluggers and basically the whole orc army throughout the game.
Yeah, and one of the things we will no doubt see is that Hide the Boys is one of the globals that allows him to infiltrate any unit in the army.
Definitely remember Alcazar being a fan of using Hide the Boys to do a Flamer Gen Bash way back when Flamers basically were remade for the Orc army and decimated generator farms because you were able to attack ground finally.
And now you don't have to use attack ground because Relic and all their awesomeness implemented a range mode. So in the meantime, we do see actually again a non-hero capping power against a Warp Spider Exarch, and by this point we gotta say that El Alcazar has to know that this is a Warp Spider Exarch. blaqk maybe didn't know because he wasn't in Observer and he wasn't here until that last game, but now Alcazar has watched at least 2 games. So, but he does back off and is using the Commando now to support. Gonna try and force this Warp Spider off, do some damage to him. and kind of hurt his early map presence other than this cap. But this starting power node can be pretty important. But we're seeing Alcazar going triple slugga, so I'm not sure exactly how important it is for him. Requisition may well be a little bit more important, actually.
Yeah, 300 to squad, especially against the Warp Exarch, you know you're going to lose a few models here and there. Just, it's the nature of a teleporting range damage dealer hero. And 3 sluggas will do pretty wonderfully against this Guardian and Banshee squad if Alcazar can keep the map capped with his superior numbers. He has to start worrying when the shurikens come out, and we may just see a Ranger squad coming out for JamusMcgamuS after this Banshee. He seems to be doing the same build every game, and it's been working out for him. So
yeah, regardless of race.
We see the commando knob trying to pressure the Warpspreader Exarch, but Jamus is doing a good job of teleporting around, taking pot shots at the sluggas, but the sluggas only lost 1 model in that whole harass.
And
so they're able to stay in the battlefield and continue to cap.
It's also important that really Jamus has only been able to get at 1 slugga squad too. He hasn't really been able to get at either of the other 2 slugga squads, so they're still roaming around at full health. And actually we see the one is intercepting the Warp Spider of Retreat, but they don't recognize it in time. He just walks right by. But you know what? Alcazar may well be fine with that. He's just walking up to the victory point cap. He's got to watch his commando knob, though. Taken out by Banshees. We do see a 4 slugga squad coming out, though. And this is a very interesting commitment to sluggas.
A little bit unfortunate for Alcazar. The commando knob said that bomb's going to blow, which means he was going to throw a stun bomb and then got knocked down by a special. Got up, about to throw it again, got knocked down again, and then killed. We do see the Rangers for JamusMcgamuS, but then another slugga squad out for Alcazar, which interesting choice. I've never seen this many slugga boys in a game before.
I have, but usually not from players of Alcazar's caliber.
But I mean, he is getting dominant map control, and the Flamers are out to Gen Bash with only Rangers to defend, but he's going for the Guardians first to prevent them from being able to defend, and then going to flank the Banshees with other sluggas.
And the Guardians,
that's going to be amazing.
The Guardians, by the way, are they are maneuvering. Okay, they do seem to be able to maneuver out here, but the sluggas are just staying between them and a retreat path. Alcazar really wants to make sure that they've got nowhere to go, and we do see improved targeters are coming out for Jamus, so these sluggas are really going to start feeling the pain pretty soon. I think that commando knob loss is really going to hurt Alcazar more than he'd like to admit.
Yeah, especially with the amount of upkeep he needs. He's already paying for upkeep. 14 population worth of upkeep on those models, and then he lost his hero just recently. He has to pay for reinforcements. It's quite a requisition drain. He just finally got his node up. He doesn't have any generators. He really needs to focus on gen bashing.
Well, I think the bigger issue actually for the hero is it's one of those few times where it's not so much economic, it's that his economic model this game, right? Getting all these burnos and stuff, all these sluggas, he's not really going to be able to afford to get this commando knob up. Maybe not even until tier 2. But this commando knob, serves a vital function in this build. The commando knob is there to go ahead and deal with the Warp Spider Exarch as much as possible. To go ahead and even like these Rangers right here could go ahead and just toss a stun bomb, force them to move, whereas this sluggas now to try and get up there have to brave a kinetic shot and just take all of this attrition damage.
Yeah, also the lack of shooters means that he won't be able to get any detectors up to try to detect the Rangers. He's just going to try to brute force his way through, which I don't know if that's necessarily the best choice.
Well, I will say, from my own... Oh, and the retreat here, the sluggas go just the wrong way, headed right into the Banshees. This doesn't look good. But kind of back to the Rangers really fast. I will say my own experience as an Orc player is that in Tier 1 you tend to just not deal with Rangers via detectors because shoot-a-knobs tend to be just a little bit on the expensive side, and you tend to not really be able to do much with them. We do see the commando knob is back out, by the way. But anyway, you tend to just wait for Tier 2, then you get a shooter knob, and you can put it in a war truck, and you can just ride up and go like, oh, you have Rangers still in Tier 2? Haha, I've got a war truck.
Yeah, we did, in the bottom, Hide the Boys used very effectively on Slugga Boys to bring the Guardian squad down to 3 models and only 20 HP. Very good sneak attack. I think he's been waiting to do that, honestly. Every commando knob waits to use that ability. It's so dastardly and evil.
It is really awesome. The one thing of note, though, is we see that his Alcazar's red is at 55 right now because of that, which sounds like plenty, given that Hide the Boys costs 75. The issue I have with that is that it really hurts when you're trying to get out We do see the command hub. Very nice dodge there by JamusMcgamuS. He saw the stun bomb. Basically, Alcazar had figured out that he was just screwed at that point with the command knob. He had to retreat. Best way to retreat the command knob most times is just throw a stun bomb at your feet. You're going to stun yourself, but you can retreat out of a stun. This is something that you didn't used to be able to do, but Relic put it in when everyone started complaining righteously. And it really actually helps the commando knob himself to be able to do that, because it forces commando knob to be able to retreat without anything being able to hit him.
And we see power income wise, JamusMcgamuS is only 20 from getting tier 2. And that will really hurt Alcazar since he only has 40 power still.
Yeah, he really has not been able to invest in his generators the way that I think he would like here, and again, that goes back to that Requisition Blade. And we do see the Warp Spider Exarch now going ahead and capturing the victory point on the left side here, and JamusMcgamuS is really just starting to take map control right as he goes into tier 2. This is really, really dangerous for Alcazar. If JamusMcgamuS were going into tier 2 and Alcazar was, at least able to push back on map control because of that, tier 2 timing, then this wouldn't be so bad. But at the moment, it's completely the opposite. Everything is in JamusMcgamuS's favor.
Yeah, quarter of the way to tier 2. Banshees will only get stronger with the Exarch, so the Sluggers will lose their sort of ability to cause enough damage to force them off.
Even before then, Sluggas, even Burna Sluggas versus Aspect Banshees is completely favored by Aspect Banshees. The only reason here that Alcazar has a chance with these Sluggas is purely because he's got like 4 of them, and therefore can just absolutely swamp the Banshees. But we do see he's been mostly avoiding the Banshees whenever he can. Except for right now, he's going to go ahead and engage.
The perfect counter to these this Slugga mass of two squads right here, and he's forced to retreat yet again, ceding map control.
And generators, he really needs that power too, because we see that the Guardians, meanwhile, are decapping the bottom power that Alcazar had held as well. So he just really seems to be falling apart economically here.
Yeah, and JamusMcgamuS has an extra generator up, which is just only going to make his stronger units come out quicker. And it doesn't look like Alcazar really has anything to be able to take that or hold it away or take it away from JamusMcgamuS right now.
Very nice grenade dodge
in the bottom, yeah. That's one thing Alcazar has always been good at, dodging nades.
And I'm sure he's got a lot of grenades to dodge with a 4x Slugga build.
Oh yeah, for sure. And JamusMcgamuS is tier 2. Let's see what he brings out, a vehicle or perhaps
warp spiders, and more warp spiders. That's my bet.
And he opts to burn down this gen farm, a very wise choice. He probably can't hold it. Probably knows that he's really behind, so he just wants to raise it down to the ground, and we see how quickly burners are able to do that. And also, JamusMcgamuS capped Alcazar's generator.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I'm not even sure here, but if Alcazar realizes it, but he's been effectively lapped as far as power goes at the moment. Not only has JamusMcgamuS tech tier 2, JamusMcgamuS has already surpassed the amount of power income that Alcazar has in tier 1 and tier 2. We see JamusMcgamuS at like over 115 power, and Alcazar is at like 91.
All things considered, Alcazar still is fairly even on the VP count, so he's still in this fight. He just needs to try to even out the power differences.
Yeah, he really needs to get his own farm back and probably capture the center if he... I'm not saying that he'd be able to hold it or put anything on it, but certainly just to be able to have that income. Anything at the moment will help him. He's at plus 10 from his base.
And Ranger's unable to use Kinetic Pulse and nade right on the Sluggas, but didn't actually do much damage even though they were in the center of the mass. But the Shuriken's able to reset up in time.
Yeah, we are seeing that Shuriken is allowing JamusMcgamuS to just kind of hold that area. And by the way, JamusMcgamuS is able to go tier 3 whenever he wants. We may see a fast tech to Avatar this game. It wouldn't surprise me at all, honestly. In fact, if he were tier 3, he'd be almost close to getting an Avatar as it stands.
Yeah, Alcazar did lose the Slugga squad at some point. I didn't really see it. My apologies.
Yeah, same here, so that's alright. We are going to see another Slugga squad be very, very dangerously close going down. In fact, it seems like it will go down.
That's an interesting retreat path choice. Not going to lie.
But it goes right into the victory point Sluggas here. But now they're going to have to retreat.
And Alcazar saying, I should have taken nids.
Well, I don't know, it's a very, that force slugger build, incredibly bold. I mean, personally, I've seen a lot more as far as, two big shooter builds, just, hold out really economically, get to tier 2, and especially for Commando Knob, a lot of your firepower, right, your stuff to deal with the Warp Spider and Warp Spiders and everything else is in tier 2.
Yeah, I'm very interested in the thought process behind the Force Slugger build. If he had taken map control and really pushed hard, he probably would have been able to pull it off, but he was just held off by that Warp Spider Exarch so well. The requisition rate on the Slugger squad models is it just really hurt his economy.
Yeah, so I don't really know if I'd blame that on the race chosen. So let's see. Basically, everyone here but Jamus is lost, so I guess we're just going to do a straight cycle and get Ice back in this.
Yeah, and winner pick map again. Man, I wish I could play in this King of the Hill, I'm not gonna lie. It's fun.
You want to test your mettle against Jamus?
Yes, I do.
I'm thinking I want to try a more traditional Commando Knob build and see how it would work, but it was certainly interesting seeing the 4 Sluggers. It's not something you see every day. Apparently, from reading the chat here, it was something that Alcazar had attempted due to... I think he was goaded into it.
Yeah, he said he did it for Bigamo, who wanted more Slugger builds, because apparently Slugger's fairly unviable in this metagame if no one's seeing builds.
No, I think, as I recall, Bigamo wanted to see more Sluggers because he plays Space Marine and constantly gets hurt by them. I could be wrong, though. So, Greentooth Jungle is the map, actually, we're going to see next.
Whoa, that would make the Chaos Lord and 3 Heretic build very viable. Greentooth the Jungle is a very, I don't know if to say wide or long, but there's plenty of easily predictable retreat paths. A fair amount of buildings that grenade launchers are good in and against, and the Chaos and the bases are fairly close that the Chaos Lord is able to get into harassing positions fairly easily. And same goes for the Warp Spider Exarch. Since the bases are very close, he can just teleport around and be a constant nuisance. Both natural power generators on this map have a building with attack ranges that go to the farm, I believe. At least one of them does. The one with the building that isn't the tall building.
We'll go and figure that out once we load into the map.
It's a natural power node of HQ number 1.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Well, HQ number 2's I don't think has range enough, or even a line of sight to the power node.
Yeah. Now we should talk a little bit about the Chaos Lord, because I don't believe we've seen him yet very much at all. At least not since our pre-release broadcast with Keltos. So the Chaos Lord is a pretty big hero. He's unsuppressible, and it's very tough to knock him back as well. We see that Ice is spawning in with him. His Warship is actually gives bonus speed to those affected by it. So we see that his Heretic's going to go ahead and Warship the Chaos Lord immediately right off the bat so he can get to that power node, the natural power node, as quickly as he possibly can here, because he really wants to get his power up, apparently.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think that's a very handy trick. He's actually overshooting it. I think.
Oh wow, he's going for somewhere else.
He predicted the Warp Spider Exarch would harass that, so he's going to get the other one. And it looks like Jamus is gonna go try to cap that power node, and he's gonna be shot up out of cover by the Chaos Tactical Marines. And I believe capping squads take more damage. I know they did in Company of Heroes. I don't know if the modifier is still present.
I don't think they do in Dawn of War 2. I'm pretty sure they don't, because actually a very common tactic for Tech Marine is you want to actually just get up to a capping node when you're under attack by melee, and just like start capping it, because you still attack from range, and then you just get a lot of benefits from doing it.
Yeah, it looks like Ice is going to try to upgrade the second power node. instead of the first one, because he understands that Jamus is just going to be a constant, thorn in his side with that War Spider Exarch, so why even bother with it?
Yeah, especially with the building right there. If we go ahead and look up by the second power node up here, there's no buildings near it at all, which is a very nice feature for a power node against the Warp Spider XR.
Yeah, and Chaos Tacticals will be able to take quite a bit of firepower from the Warp Spider Exarch without losing a model, which really negates one of his chief early game tactics of causing model loss.
In fact, we haven't seen any so far, not even any of the heretics have gone down.
Yeah, and this build is a pretty good counter to the Banshee squad too, especially since the Chaos Tactical Marines can focus fire the Warp Spider Exarch or tie up the Guardians while the heretics deal with the Banshees.
And I'm going to be really interested to see if we see Noise Marines again. Not sure what what specific purpose they would serve here, but I thought it was interesting when they came out last game with the 3 heretics and Noise Marines. They are one of the new units in Retribution. So, and actually the bashing distance to Jamus's generators is close enough that Noise Marines could be really useful in just that. So.
And I don't know why, but that War Shout did not suppress the Chaos Space Marines, even though they were right next to the Banshees.
It's kind of like EMP in StarCraft with the Science Vessel. It really looks like the AoE is bigger than it actually is.
Oh, that makes sense. And a Gen Bash with the Combi Bolter, which allows him to burn the ground around, dealing massive AoE damage to the generators.
Nah, they fixed that in beta, so I'm kind of surprised why he's trying this. But I guess the Chaos Sword tends to be a terrible basher of generators in general, so like anything that the Combi Flamer does here is probably better than his default attack.
Yeah, it did bring that second generator to half health, so the tacticals can bring it down. Also, it can be used to spike himself against the Banshees and be used to predict where the Rangers are and try to toast them alive while they're still infiltrated. Which, all around a solid choice of war gear, I believe.
Yeah,
potential.
The real reason why I got it, though, actually has nothing to do with the ability. It's kind of the funny part. The real usage for the Combi Flamer in this matchup tends to be when the Chaos Lord is chasing Guardians or Rangers and stuff, the Combi Flamer does much improved damage to those, well, just to like anything, right? So, as we can see here, the Ranger's health is dropping really fast, and the Chaos Lord's not even in melee with them.
Yeah, that was 100 HP within a few shots, but it looks like JamusMcgamuS, with the improved targeters dealing a massive amounts of damage, found the secret gen farm and is attacking it while Ice is trying to defend with grenade launchers and bringing up the other heretics to try to support.
But you see, though, that both players there managed to go ahead and get a nice gen bash in, and it seems like Ice may be able to save some of his farm. His Chaos Lord, though, is in a little bit of trouble, gets the kill the weak off that he needs to get out of there. And those Banshees did lose a model in that fight, so that will weaken them, allow Ice to probably do a better job controlling them on the rest of the map. But you see these grenade launcher heretics, though, getting tied up by this Warp Spider, and they've got to be worried about squad wipe here. So they are going to retreat out.
They were just shooting.
Yeah, so that was actually maybe been a bit of a mistake there by Jamus to not tie them up.
Yeah.
But you see, though, the node is saved, so that is 125 requisition that Ice doesn't have to spend, that Jamus spent.
Havoc's interesting choice, especially against Rangers. He already knows Rangers are out in the field. Rangers are the counter to Havocs, really. They are the equivalent of a jump troop for the Eldar army. And by jump troop, I mean Ravner Assault Marines or Storm Boys, which we haven't actually seen before in a cast yet. Or, yeah, those are the jump troops. And basically they're there to disrupt the platform units or disrupt infantry in general.
Yeah, now I think where Heretics may be useful here is we see these Rangers are being really aggressive against everything else. He may just be confident enough that even if the Rangers are sitting there dealing with the Havocs, that they're not dealing with anything else. So there's always, all that kind of stuff goes into your unit choices. Just because something counters something doesn't mean it's instantly useless. It's always a good thing to remember.
That's true. Dawn of War 2 is mainly a game of soft counters. Hard counters really just don't exist. It really just depends on how well you use your units. Certain unit types are better in doing other things, but that's with every other game. So it really just depends on how well you use your units.
So we do see the Heretics managed to find the Rangers pop the Doom Blast, but lost about 5 models on retreat there because of the Banshee presence.
Yeah, and let's see here. We do see Jamus. I think my UI is still a little bit bugged. Jamus has 381 VPs, and Ice has 417, I believe.
No, Ice has 381, Jamus has 414. And we see again here though a Gen Bash coming in from Ice, and there's that 180 degree setup bug. Gotta love that. I think
but a nice use of the barrage ability to keep the Banshees off the Havocs, just in time for them to set up and suppress the Banshees. Now
yeah,
the
I'm not really sure what happened to the Banshees there, because they got barrage with the one, but then they didn't really keep going after them. They just kind of stopped completely.
I think it was a pathing bug related to the one model that got knocked back.
Yeah, maybe. They may have just like lost acquisition and then weren't micro to go ahead and reacquire. In the meantime, we have Guardians forced off in the bottom victory point by Heretics, and the top we've got CSM against the Warp Spider Exarch. The CSM are in green cover, though the Warp Spider finally teleported into a spot where they can't get it, but now they've got it again. So green cover, very important whenever fighting the Warp Spider Exarch, except it's always tough to get because the Warp Spider is basically able to get green cover at will, while nothing else can. Oh, 2 CSM models go down in this battle, but the Warp Spider might go down. Very close, 8 down, and so we have a battle up top there, basically a battle to the death, and the Warp Spider is what dies.
The Rangers are going to be able to take out the CSM if he doesn't retreat immediately,
and he finally does retreat there.
That was close. The Chaos Space Marine model, I mean, Chaos Space Marine squad definitely more worth more than a Warp Spider Exarch.
Yeah.
Especially when he was so close to teching up to tier 2. If he lost that, then he could have just thrown a wrench in his whole strategy.
And speaking of teching anywhere here, well, actually I should probably mention something really quickly here. These Rangers are following these CSMs to the base. They're trying to get off that last shot. The CSMs are reinforced. They can't reinforce before they get sniped. Oh, man. Wow. And we see Ice is not happy with that. I didn't think that was going to work. They got it just before the reinforcement came in.
That was good risk assessment. I feel like I should have moved his Chaos Space Marines as soon as they reached the base to try to get that extra range difference so he could reinforce.
Yeah, also the obstacle obstruction, because Rangers can only shoot in a straight line. So we do see though that Jamus is going tier 2. Ice is most of the way to tier 2. Ice's Generator Bash down in the bottom here actually did a nice job of just barely delaying Jamus's tier 2. They were both on track to tech about the same time, but because of that very good Gem Bash, we did see that Ice was able to go ahead and tech a little bit ahead. That may allow him to get a Blood Crusher or something else out a little bit faster than they otherwise would be able to. And actually, this will be the first time I think that we've seen Jamus going into tier 2 behind one of his opponents today.
Yeah, and Ice is replacing those Chaos Space Marine squad. But it is going to still be a very huge loss. I wonder if he's planning Corn Marines or Zinch Marines. Corn Marines, I feel like, would be excellent against this force just because of the high damage and high speed they have.
Yeah, the one thing that would be I'd be a little afraid of though are the Howling Banshees, and then also I guess they could probably catch up to the Warp Spider Exarch without too much of an issue. But they are somewhat of an attrition cost. A little less now though that Relic has decreased the cost of Chaos Space Marines. We are seeing Corn come out, so that is why he went ahead and replaced them.
Corn Marines are really good against Eldar just because of their chase speed and high melee damage. He just needs to protect his Corn Marines from the Banshees, but with Grenade Blasts and these Havocs, it's very possible. One thing that I recommend, this is exactly what I was talking about with the Infiltrate thing. Now you can see the full model.
Yep.
Because the detector is out. Now they're taking full damage from range sources.
And
one thing you can do against infiltrated units if you have a grenade launcher is just attack around where you last saw them. You'll still do damage to them, and basically force them to move the unit. And
you can actually semi-reveal them by doing that too. Now
yeah, they do fire back, don't they?
Yeah, they fire back. Also, not even about firing back, but I think it's when stuff gets damaged, it's like no longer infiltratable.
I like the warship so that the Heretics can chase more and then get right into the Guardians' faces.
Yeah, and the Guardians didn't even have a chance to toss down a grenade there because of that.
Yeah, and also the warship does spread out your Heretics, so if a grenade's coming out on them, hit warship really quickly, and there is a chance that they'll spread out enough that it will...
Uh-oh, watch this heretic. Watch this Havoc. The Havoc is retreating back to base, but the Rangers are following. The Rangers are following the Havoc. There's only one model in the Havoc left. Oh, this could be really bad for Ice here. Maybe losing another model. Oh, it's brought down to 1 health. It's reinforcing. The reinforce is not going to complete in time. He's got to move it. He's got to move it. He's moving it away. The reinforce completes in time.
And he did start moving it just in time. The Ranger squad will not be able to bring down this squad. Just
very nice grenade barrage against the Banshees up here in the top portion, top middle, and the melee heretics then able to get in here and do some extra damage. And now the Wart Spider Arc suppressed from a Doom Blast, and able to teleport away those. He's going to watch those melee heretics retreat them out. And so all around here, Ice doing a pretty good job. I'm not quite sure what he's building up to yet. He's got a little over 400 requisition. Jamus is in tier 2 now. He's a little over 300 with over 40 power.
And we did see JamusMcgamuS try to do a nade spike on retreat, which would have wiped a heretic squad, but just a little bit mistimed that it didn't do any damage. Another thing about Corn Marines, they can be upgraded with their Sergeant, which will also get a Chain Axe. So that adds another model dealing damage and another model giving health, basically, and another chance to survive, which will be useful against these Rangers, considering how aggressively Jamus is using them.
Yeah, and it's also notable the Aspiring Champion. Oh, here comes in the Autarch, and the Corn's Space Marines are going to successfully dodge. And we see in response to the Autarch, Blood Crusher is coming out for Ice. But anyway, back a bit, that Aspiring Champion, it also, the pistol that it has, as opposed to an Infernal Pistol, is a Melt-A-Gun, so it allows it to do effective damage against vehicles. Not very much, but just enough to be very soft AV and kind of help out a bit.
Yeah, which is always useful when you're chasing, especially since I believe they do power melee.
Yeah, they usually do power melee, yep.
Which means that normally their normal melee attacks deal damage as well.
Yeah, that's why they're very effective against the likes of Space Marines and such. Meanwhile, we're seeing Guardians kind of in the base here of Ice. I'm not really sure what that's all about, but here comes the Blood Crusher.
Tying up the Havocs.
Now we do see the Chaos Lord's very low, and he gets off the Kill the Weak ability there, which goes ahead and knocks back the Banshees, and as you saw, it also heals him. Basically, every model that the Chaos Lord hits with Kill the Weak heals him a little bit more. So the more models you hit with Kill the Weak, the more you're healed.
It does have a wind-up time, so very careful players are usually able to dodge at least a little bit to get a few of the models out of the way, so the Chaos Lord doesn't maximize his healing. It was a major problem in the beginning when the Chaos Lord was first introduced. A lot of players didn't just understand how to counter it, and the correct counter is dodge it.
Yeah.
Bait him into wasting it. It does have a fairly high cooldown and energy cost associated with it.
Yeah, now we do see that the Rangers lost a model to this Blood Crusher, and there is no great counter out so far for Jamus to the Blood Crusher. He actually went ahead and researched Executioner on his Autarch. So other than these Exarch Banshees, he doesn't really have too much to deal with this.
And we see Eternal War coming down on the Chaos Space Marines. That's actually a tier 1 upgrade, but it does cost 25 power?
20.
Or 20 power, which basically increases both their melee and range damage. And now the Aspiring Champion is coming out, so he's going to get that extra model to deal some damage.
Yeah, he's going to go full out on these Corn Space Marines. He's got to watch out. These Heretics are actually probably in a decent position, really, with the Blood Crusher coming up for support. But the Guardians here possibly able to nade spike, but no, they're not going to be able to. The Blood Crusher very nicely maneuvered between the Guardians and the Heretics there. We're going to see, I think, Warp Spider Colin coming in. Right near these Corn Chaos Space Marines, though, so they're going to have to get out of there really quick. And these Corn Chaos Space Marines, really nice because they're actually pretty fast. I think their speed is about speed 6 or something. So that is the one really nice bonus with them. They're like speed 6. Their pistols are pretty good. It makes them really, really good chasers. So they're able to kind of keep up with these teleporting units just by, if they can figure out where the teleporting unit went, they can just charge at it kind of pretty constantly.
Interesting note, the Havoc was shooting at fairly decent mid-ranges to the Autarch, who was decapping and then recapped that VP and took all that damage and only lost half HP because of the energy shield.
Yeah, we see again Ice not very happy about that. Ice a little bit vocal on the Game Replays forums about his dislike of the Autarch, and we've seen that coming out just a little bit here. So those warp spiders here are fully upgraded now. They will be able to go ahead and target that Blood Crusher to try and haywire. But in the meantime, though, we have the Chaos Lord go down despite some very nice warship there by Ice, trying to get the Chaos Lord to speed up.
What was with the Banshee's weapons glow? Was that the Warp Spider Exarch Global crack shot? I don't believe that increases range damage. I'm not too sure why their weapons were glowing.
It does increase range damage. I think the glow was just from the warshout.
Oh, possibly. I thought for some reason it was some attack buff that I've never seen before.
No, I thought it was just it may have. Well, I wish I could see it again now that you mention it, but no, I think it just mostly had to deal with that. In the meantime, we've seen these grenade launcher heretics in a little bit of trouble here as everything has decided to concentrate on them. The Blood Crusher is going to try and move up to save them, but falling quite quickly here, already having lost the Aspiring Champion.
And there goes the haywire down on the Blood Crusher. That's going to slow him down a little bit so he won't be able to...
Oh, we are seeing Blood Sacrifice come in here, though, for Ice. So we're going to have a bunch of Bloodletters coming out. These are going to be really dangerous to just about everything near them. They're just kind of like expendable Bloodletters. And those are going to go ahead and save the Blood Crusher, as they do force off the Banshees and force the Warp Spiders back, although the Warp Spiders aren't forced to retreat at all here. We've got the Warp Spider Exarch in that building once again, and everything just kind of following here. I'm kind of surprised that we haven't seen Ice invest in Let the Galaxy Burn, aka Inferno Armor. Might help a little bit with catching this teleporting stuff, and also just dealing with buildings in general. He's got to watch his Chaos Sword again, though, because it's very low on health. 97, and the Warp Spider X are teleporting to try and finish him off, but ultimately just taking way too much damage from the Blood Crusher here.
Yeah, and yeah, it looks like JamusMcgamuS will be taking this game yet again, and just on time, 6:57, which is 3 minutes to 7, which is when we stop our show. Interesting.
Yeah, and it's map control that is going to win this one for Jamus here. We can see, well, not map control really, well, a little bit, yeah, but victory points specifically.
We see in all these games so far, actually, the players have been floating a lot. None of them seem to want to go to tier 3 when they can, and I'm kind of interested in the reasoning behind that. There's that weapon glow yet again. I think it's actually the Autarch's leap when she inspires her teammates. I didn't even realize the Autarch was in that battle previously. I thought it wasn't, so that's why I was really confused.
Yeah, it would seem to be that, though. And, yep, we're just going to bleed down for 3, 2, 1. And
Bam.
that is game. And Havoc barely survives, just because game is over there. So we see Jamus just stomping through everyone here.
I think I can say without a shadow of a doubt, he is indeed the king of the hill.
Yeah, we don't have really much dispute of that today. Or any way to dispute that, I don't think either.
Yeah, that's just, we saw some good play from him. Overcame all of his opposition. Sorry, I'm mid cough. This is hard for me to talk.
But yeah, so we saw that Jamus going ahead with the Warp Spider, making good use of him. Again, whatever you think of the hero, whatever you think of its current state of balance, doing a good job with his usage, using him in the right ways to exercise map control and everything else to just bring himself to victory.
Yeah, and basically, I just want to go ahead and mention this again. The daily show, we are looking for replays to cast. If at any time, you can get in touch with either me or 5-star through various means. Steam, you can add me. I'll actually, in the chat, the Ustream chat, I will put my Steam profile too. You can feel free to add me if you got a replay. I can't really accept invites long-term, friend requests, because my friend list is being filled up rather quickly, but I can accept you. We can chat a little bit if you got a replay. You know, go ahead and send that to me. And actually, link mode is disabled. Uh-oh. I'm trying to think how to get past this. Allow links. That is my my Steam ID, you can go ahead and add me. And just because I can, I'm gonna put my fan club link up.
Well, meanwhile, next week, Lokgar is actually heading out on spring break, so I'm going to be holding down the fort with Relkin, and we're going to be doing a week-long round-robin mini-tournament. So for that, we've got about 4 players lined up. We're going to have 2 matches for the tournament each day, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then Friday, we're going to go ahead and have the best of 3 finals for that. So be sure to tune in for that. We've got some high-level players that you haven't seen yet in iCCup events, or hopefully there'll be ones that you haven't seen. I know at least 3 of them will be. I'm really working on the 4th to be someone that we haven't seen yet. Had a couple of setbacks there. But anyway, so we're working on organizing that. The second that we have the participant list confirmed, I will post that up on Game Replays, and I've also posted up on iCCup for you guys. Actually, I already have tentative schedule. There's just one person in there that needs to be swapped out. If you actually look in the events at the bottom of the stream down here that you're watching now, there's actually an events section. I'm going to keep that updated for you guys as much as possible. So next week, again, most of the schedule for that round robin tournament is already up. So if you like this, if you liked our show match, if you like basically anything, you should love that.
And folks, that is the show, unless of course you got some last minute plugs, 5-star. But it is now 7:02.
Now I just want to thank all the Game Replays staff for coming out today and put on a good show, playing this King of the Hill for us. And I also want to thank them for putting in their volunteer time, volunteer hours. There's, really, Game Replays doesn't pay anything. iCCup isn't, well, I don't know, I don't know, whatever. No comment. Nothing yet. But, it's just something kind of a labor of love to go ahead and put out those strategy guides and to do the refereeing for the tournaments and whatnot that Game Replays is hosting and will be hosting. So, what those guys do constantly and what they put up with, of course, from the community at times, just what they do every day. I just want to say thank you to them for doing that. And I want to say thank you to them for coming out today.
Yeah, and it is around that time of spring break. I do want to say have a safe and fun spring break, and hopefully see you guys in Dawn of War 2.
So this is 5-Star General signing off.
And Lord Lokgar saying goodbye.